right, I'm back with another real estate lunchbox. Yup. Back with another lunchbox, guys. I do this for you guys because I love doing this and showing you guys what's coming. I love doing that. Hold on one second. This is the crazy. Yup. I had to get my shades, of course, because we're gonna cover some really shady topics. Oh yeah, we're gonna cover some of this shade that's out here, y'all. And it's a lot of shade that's being thrown from the governor's race to the shutdown. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna cover some of the shade. I want to make sure that when I cover this, we're gonna cover all of this. But before we even get it started, before we even start rocking and rolling, guys, you know I always gotta throw in here. This is forever gonna be my sponsor for every program that I do, for everyone that I bring about. You're gonna see Real Estate Lunchbox working with Live Free Give Hope. You don't know what Live Free Give Hope? It is an investor and his family decided that instead of selling their portfolio, they're going to give it away. Instead of selling their portfolio, they're going to give it away. So they're going to be giving away a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment in Atlanta, fully furnished, flat screen TV. I'll probably roll up there today. Take a look at it. It's completed. It's popping. Flat screen TV. Also, it's going to include utilities covered for 1 year. And if you're an investor, you're wondering, should I even be dealing with something like this? I'm gonna just tell you that you probably want to, because if you win, you will be able to lease that space out as an Airbnb. I was wondering, should I? But as an affiliate, I can't do that. I can't be a part of it as an affiliate. As an ambassador, I can't be a part of it. But if you want to, all you got to do is go over to 12monthfreerent.com. Fully furnished. I don't know too many places where it's fully furnished and you get it, and you can literally just put the ad out there, and a person can lease the place, and you can start cash flowing like literally in 30 days. Now, this program was set because he kept renting people out the place, and you'll have months where people can't pay their rent. They don't pay their rent. They don't pay their rent. So how do we go ahead and supplement keeping the asset while I would say while turning around and allowing someone to live there, you know, offering it as housing. This sweepstakes model is one of the best models for real estate, and this is the fact. Okay, you're gonna see a lot of people that's gonna look at this, and y'all gonna look at it and say, "Oh, well, it's a scam. This guy's trying to scam me." And it's cool. That's no problem. You should be aware of scams. But there's being aware of scams, and then there's being aware of scams. Okay, guys? And this is not a scam. The guy who actually owns the place is doing this. Been in business. He's owned this for about 10 years. Trust me, he ain't trying to scam you. Over the last 10 years, he's had a bunch of rentals. And specifically, they're renters, and I'm sure they've tried to scam him if he's lost money to them. So you're not brand new. Nope. Nobody wants to scam you out of your free entry. Nobody wants to scam you out your free entry. Nobody wants to. But we did take the time. I say we because he did speak to me and share with me what he did. And I said, my advice is blah, blah, blah. I guess we took the time. He took the time. And I was just there to talk to the attorneys and get it all set up so you don't have to deal with some of the issues that you possibly have to deal with. So let's get into this show, man. These guys are phenomenal. I love Live Free, Give Hope. Just go to 12monthfreerent.com. It's scrolling at the top. And let's get it started, man. Let's get it started. Because echoing through the internet, we're seeing there's been a rise in an increase in monthly mortgage payments across the board. Some people have seen their mortgage payments go up a couple $100. Some seen it double. I know where I'm at. We saw our mortgage payment go up, a couple $100. I got you. That's why I'm in here doing this. And then I have to leave out and go sell some real estate and flip a couple pieces of clothing. But this is why I'm here. No, this is not here. I'm here because I love doing this. This is the business. Oh man. But surprise, surprise, when you get a house, your mortgage will go up.
Okay, so here's something they will not tell you when you buy a house, or at least they didn't tell me, and now I'm salty. So when I first bought my house, my mortgage payment was $1,151. After my first year living in that house, they raised my mortgage to $1,579. The fuck? I thought I was tripping. That is a $428 increase. I was under the impression that my mortgage payment would literally never change, but I was wrong. So here's what happened, and I'm going to use example numbers. So let's say there's a house and the value of that house is $20,000. Because the value of the house is so low, that means that the property taxes are also going to be significantly low. So let's just say the property taxes are only $500 per year. Okay, now let's say an investor comes in and rehabs the entire house, puts everything brand new into the house, boom. Now it's a beautiful home. And now the value of that house is $150,000. Okay, now because the value of the house went up, that means that the property taxes are also going to go up. So now the property taxes are $2,000 per year instead of $500. And this is what they did not tell me.
So now the property taxes are what $2,000 a year instead of $500. Yes, they don't tell you this, and I'm gonna tell you just by choice. It seems like she didn't speak her. She's not talking about her specific situation. She is talking about it from the perspective of an investor. Investors do know, rehabbers do know when you buy a house, and of course, if we bought it for 50, 90,000, the taxes that we have at 50 and 90,000 is not going to be the same taxes that we pay on a property when it's worth 300,000, 400,000, and but investors know that. She just discovered it and she presented it like an investor, and you know.
Fuck. So basically, I believe it's every single year they come and do an assessment of your house. And they say, what's the value of this house from last year to this year? And if your property has increased in value, they are going to increase your taxes. Now, I am highly upset with the people who, my mortgage lender and my realtor, for not explaining this to me. And the reason why I'm so upset is because I would have been okay.
I don't think realtors actually take the time to say your house goes up in value, you're going to be paying more money. Some realtors probably do that. I'm not saying that they don't. Your mortgage person, 99% of the time, probably won't. Okay. But guess what? I keep saying this. If you educate yourself, you won't have to worry about that. You'll know it. You don't make the largest purchase of your life and not know what you're getting into. You don't. That's why I see realtors out here that don't even own homes. They know I'm not dealing with that. No, I'm just joking. They can't even tell you about that process because they don't own a home. Now, she's probably mad at a realtor probably that doesn't even own a property. Yeah, there's a ton of realtors you guys play with out here that never purchased a property. See, why do I say that? Because when I worked in corporate America, the statement was you need to own the product that you're selling if you're in corporate sales. So if at that time it was ADT, and I'm not afraid to mention, yeah, it was ADT. Okay, so ADT, I had to have an alarm system in the house. It benefited me to know how that alarm system works. So when I walked into a home and I'm selling a product, I can literally say, here is a wireless keypad and it's good up until this distance and blah, blah, blah. I can give them the rundown. Oh, you need to watch out for this. Realtors do you a disservice. I wish one of the questions for interviewing a realtor was, do you own property? Have you purchased property? And what property have you purchased? I wish it was, because if you've owned property and you purchase property, then doggone, you probably need me to help you. Or you need to get on a team with people that own property and purchase property. Say, no, I don't own a property or I haven't purchased a property, but I've helped XYZ amount of people purchase property. Because you've seen the contract, you've been through the process, you know that. Now, look, I just went on a rant on something else.
With that, if they would have explained that to me and I was ready and prepared. But no, I just got a bill in the mail and it said a $428 increase due in 2 months. I believe the issue is a lot of the times, especially when it comes to young people and first-time home buyers, realtors and mortgage lender, whoever you're dealing with, they don't want to give you all the information up front because they just want to make the sale. They just want to make money. And I believe that is so unethical, because now I don't even want to work with you. Like, just tell me so I know and I'm prepared.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. This is what happens with the public. This is what happens with the public. This is what happens. Yes. And she's not wrong. Even though I'm like, doggone, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. I mean, as much preparation as you can give to your client, I mean, all that's going to mean is that it's a better and easier transaction for you. You know, it doesn't. They're not court slipping. You know, they're not court slipping. One thing we didn't bring in was the chat bubble. Let's make sure we have that chat bubble. Okay. But they're not court slipping. They're not court slipping, and they're not court slipping because you kind of know the process. You know what they should expect in the process, and you've already walked that road. So there's no slipping. You know, there's no slipping. But yeah. So I can understand her frustration.
Grimes, how the hell did my payment go up $1,000? That's the first call I received this morning from an old client of mine. Sometime last year, she bought a new build property, and she went with the builder's lender for the incentives, right? Understandable. But what it looks like is that the builder's lender, shame on him or her, decided to go with the unimproved land tax, which is a lot less than what the actual tax quote was going to be with the actual structure being on the land. So this causes a shortage in the client's escrow account with the mortgage company. Mortgage company is paying the tax and the insurance. So they say, okay, well, this is what it's going to be. So we're having to cover it for you. So now we're going to increase your payment in order to make up the difference. That sucks. But there's nothing you can do about it. So here's what you can do. One, you can go ahead and have your homeowner's insurance reviewed and shop it around a little bit to see if you can get a lower homeowner's insurance policy. Especially here in Texas right now, a lot of people's homeowner's insurance is doubling currently. And so if you can see if you can get that a little bit lower, that'll help out with that shortage that you have in your escrow account. And then you also would you want to go ahead and make sure you file for your homestead exemption in the state of Texas, or anywhere else, but especially in Texas, because you will save a nice little chunk of change on that homeowner's insurance. On that property tax.
And he is 100% right. That homeowner's exemption, that exemption tax, it's yours. A lot of people don't file for it. You definitely need to file for it. By the time you buy the house, you need to locate. You need to find out when does it open up, because it opens up in Georgia. I don't know about a lot of other states, but there is a period where it opens and then there's a period where it closes, and you have to actually purchase it during that time, during that period. So if you not purchase it, I'm sorry, you have to enroll in it. It's an enrollment most of the time done by the local county or municipality. So for example, here, DeKalb County, you'll go to DeKalb County and then you will enroll and get your homeowner's exemption done. Every county does it different. Some of them you can do it online. Some of them you have to go up there. Some of them you can mail it in. It's all about that. But at the end of the day, you need to enroll in this because it does chip away a nice, comfortable chunk. It's not going to split your taxes in half. I haven't seen it split it in half, but I have seen it take a good anywhere from 10, probably 15%, probably 20%, depending. If I got to go back and look at it originally from the time we bought the house, off of it, and that benefits you especially. And if you are like a veteran, if you're a veteran and you're a 100% disabled, put all my Army vets out there. If you are an elderly person, someone that is older and over age, I think in Fulton County down here, 65, I think it's 60 or 65. If somebody knows the specific age, you can put it in the comments or the chat. And at that age, you can turn around and you can get your taxes significantly reduced. So it does benefit you to apply for homeowners exemption, and tax exemption. And one other thing, no, if you're a senior and you apply, like someone elderly, older, a senior, and you apply and you get it, yours is probably going to be the most significant. Between that and the veterans, it'll probably be the most significant discount on your.
The good news is it probably won't be $1,000 that she's going to be increasing her payment by. Bad news is the payment's still going to increase because you're having to account for the property tax that wasn't paid and wasn't quoted to you. So if you're buying a new build property and you're going with the new build lender or any lender, if they're trying to give you $300 property tax per month on a $600,000-$700,000 house, use your common sense. That's not real. It may feel good in the short period, but in the long term, it's going to piss you off when you get that letter from your mortgage company.
Oh, for sure. The new constructions, I always have my opinion on it. Having done tons of new construction deals, I feel with new construction, if you're a homeowner, you're buying it, you are gambling unless you're going into an area where you look outside of your community and you're 100%, like you're 99% sure that this place is going to appreciate and you're going to have like the type of neighbors that you want. And when I say the type of neighbors that you want, let me be crystal clear what I mean by that. I mean neighbors that aren't going to default on their mortgage, that are going to take care of their place, that are going to keep it up to date and keep it up, and those are the type of neighbors that you want. You don't want the grass growing over. So you don't know what you get in a new home community because they're still building. Okay? So he's 100% on that, man. And that sucks. That's
okay? You don't get any grace for ignorance. You got to think about it.
Yeah, there's grace for ignorance, but not in this situation. Really, it isn't. And I hate to say it, but that's the truth, because you can't run to the lender and say, hey, you quoted me the wrong taxes. They gave you what they thought it was. They gave you what it was. They should have known. But I mean, honestly, if you look at the comparables within a mile of your home that you're buying, and you are new home construction, and you look at what are the taxes on those comparable homes, very comparable to yours, that the builder's using to draw their comps from. If they're establishing new comps, what's the nearest value range that, let's say if they're 300,000, what does a 300,000 home in that 300,000 home in that county look like? What can gauge what the taxes would actually be, just standard. But man, that sucks. That sucks. I would go back and probably. Nah, let me not say that, dude. Let's go to that.
I didn't know that when I was building a home that I was just gonna have to pay taxes off the land, and then when the home is actually built, then you got to pay taxes on the actual home and the land, which increased my mortgage by $3,000. I didn't know that. So now my mortgage is increased by $3,000 from what I'm currently paying. And plus you still got all these other expenses and stuff like that. I don't knock buying a home. I think the goal should always still buy a home, but you should be prepared to know what's to come. Like I say, if they would have told me like, hey, your tax is going to be based off of this number instead of this number in a year, no, that wouldn't have changed my decision. I still would have moved forward. But if they would have told me that, I would have been prepared and not, look in the mail and be like, bro, who this for? You feel me? Who is this for? I know y'all ain't trying to increase my mortgage. And then the thing like that is like, it's aggravating because it's like, bro, you think I'm just about to allow you to bully me? I feel like I'm like y'all trying to bully me. Like, you think you just about to just get 3,000 extra out of me and no say so. But come to find out, this is how this junk is. So I wish I would have just known a little bit more. But at the end of the day, it wouldn't have changed my decision at all to build a home at all. I'm still thankful, thank the Most High that He, blessed me and my family to be able to do so. I'm not complaining or anything like that. I'm very thankful, but I just wish I would have more prepared to that. But at the end of the day, it really don't matter because guess what? The house gonna be paid off. Like I say, I would never be victim of a situation. I'll always be a victor of anything. So they can try to increase whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter because guess what? The house about to be paid off anyway.
Oh, my man got the best mindset. That's it. I'm not a victim of any situation. I'm a victor of everything. Praise God for that. I love it.
So it really don't matter. But for the people that don't know, if you buy a home, make sure that you got all that information in place, the taxes, all that stuff, what the house gonna be. Make sure you know all that stuff going into it so you can be prepared, and not be shocked when you look in the mail and be like, who the fuck? And then also the escrow, you gotta know what's going on with the escrow, because if your escrow is short, now you gotta pay this shortage thing that increase your mortgage as well. So if you could pay extra inside your escrow, make sure you could pay extra. Make sure you.
There should be a class. You should take a homeowner's class before you actually do that. First time homeowners class, I feel should start to be a requirement, especially with what's taking place with the real estate market. It is so important, especially if you're a new buyer. I would take one. I would definitely take one. I'm surprised some people don't do that as much. You really should because it educates you all around. It's all around education.
Do so if you just paying what the mortgage company got you set up with. 9 times out of 10, when that when your taxes and stuff go up, that escrow gonna go up and it's gonna cause a shortage. So be prepared for that. Just get educated all the way around with the buying experience. Just be educated, so you can be prepared when you buy your home, purchase your home, build your home, whatever the case is. So pay attention to the taxes, the escrows. If you're in the HOA community, whatever the case is, just be prepared, But that's not stopping us from buying and purchasing and building, nothing like that. Still build and buy and purchase. Let's go.
Oh, real talk. And I shout and I say, hey, you're supposed to know. I can tell you how many investor courses I took before I did my first flip. But that's true for most investors. But I think the biggest difference for me was not just seeing it done by other investors that were my clients, but also doing multiple regular, just traditional contracts and knowing where this belongs, that belongs. So the experience was there, but not in a direct class. But still, there's some things I could have paid somebody $5K to put me in there. $5K. Let me teach you how to write this contract. You real estate agent. Dude, let's get it on. Guys, this government shutdown is going to roll into this real estate market if something isn't done. I already know that we're going to see a roll-in this real estate market from massive job loss in the tech space. We're going to see a roll-in this real estate market from the Doge kick out. Maryland is you guys in Maryland are experiencing that already. Okay, we're going to see a drastic effect if we have any more job loss in this market. And this government shutdown can affect this market also. There are people, government employees, who need to pay their bills. They need to pay their mortgage. They may have some money saved up, but unlike some people, they may not be able to go. Some people being ultra rich may not be able to go a long, extended period of time without making their monthly payment. But that is the fact. So this government shutdown is not just something for SNAP, which SNAP is an important thing. Millions of families need food. But this government shutdown is big also for things like, anyway, let's go. Because if I sit down and talk to you guys, you're going to get to
The US government shutdown is now into its 30th day, and even the Democrats have had enough of Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries' unhinged demands that are holding the government and the American people to ransom.
Well, I think it doesn't solve the health insurance problem, the premium problem. I think what's a very fair deal and is open the government and let's just vote on extending these premiums for a year or more. Well, I don't understand what's so hard about that. And by the way, Senator Thune has offered that, I believe. He said he'd offered up a vote that we can actually have a vote on extending these premiums. I think when put to it, you're going to see Democrat and Republicans, senators and congressmen and women want to vote for that. Why would you not want to vote to extend help with these tax credits, get premiums down for people? People are getting hurt right now in their pocketbooks. Yep. They're really need help.
I don't understand how we vote people in. And you help me understand this. I want to know, how do we do this? And they see the suffering, but they're standing off for something they're saying their constituents need, but their constituents are the ones who are suffering and taking to the internet. So help me understand this, please. I don't understand it. I don't know why. I know politics is a battle for power, period. Control, dominancy, control over as far as your mind and your imagination can actually go. So when I'm looking at this, I'm trying to figure out, and I know why. Part of me knows why. Some of the things that Democrats actually want in this bill, that they want, they're requiring to reopen the government. Money going over to Africa for sex changes, and a ton of course, which Trump is heavily against, and he's been saying it, illegal immigration funds. Illegal immigrants getting taxpayer money for SNAP benefits. That is a big thing. That is a big thing. There has to be a better way to handle it. And I don't believe making grandma and making any person struggle and fight to get money to put food on the table. We don't know. I'm not talking about their situation. I know some people are like, yeah, they need to go get a job. I don't know. Everybody has a different reason for being on SNAP. I can tell you some people worked, older folks, and they're not, they wasn't exposed to some of the clarity and things that we know now. I know that. But that's all that doesn't. But at the end of the day, I'm still, can we at least let the SNAP money go? Can we at least let SNAP go? And is there some way that they can do to actually check and see who's getting the SNAP benefits? And can we do a SNAP verification? Like a verification? Can we hire people to go to houses and or go to a person asking them to send in the information? Can we verify this? Because if we can verify it, mom and grandmom and grandpop and auntie them, they can all get their money to buy their groceries. Because God knows it's Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is in November. And if this hits like this, some people are really going to be struggling. And if you have a church or you have a body that's near you and they're into giving into the public, please, I pray that they're giving to you right now. I pray that the doors are open where they can turn around and supply to the people what's needed. Because I believe this is the time when the church should be present in this. I believe at this time we shouldn't be looking towards the government for help. We as the church, like I'm at service this Sunday. The pastor says, hey, don't worry about SNAP. We're going to take care of us. We're going to take care of the community. We're going to take care of the people that need it. That's what's needed. And there's been some other men of God in churches that have done the same thing. Now we need investors. Don't wait till Thanksgiving Day. If you're going to gleam and say you got balling pockets, go ahead and start that now. Do something, or go somewhere and help them do something, or give somebody something to help. We like to go out and even around Thanksgiving, go and just stand in a cold and give out turkeys. Okay? And it made me feel so good to do it. It was my first year doing it, and I've served in the ministry doing other things, but I never gave out turkeys. You know, I never had that. So I never did that. I said I wanted to do it. My wife wanted to do it, the kids, so we went and did it. But at the end of the day, I tell you, if we rely on the government to open up, to feed these people, we don't know when it's going to happen. We don't know. So empower, help your local municipality, your local church, your body that you're a part of, or your local organization. All of these freaking Kappa things, Delta King, Delta this and that. You guys should be out here doing something. Look at me, I'm attacking. But it's the fact. We should be seeing posts, oh, we're giving away food every week. Doggone, you know you charge them all this money to pledge. They know you play their dues like that. But that's what we need. What good is an organization if it doesn't do anything for the people? It just pulls in people from the people that they say are the best of the people, but never go back to help the people. You take their time anyway. Let's go.
So why not give them some help?
Outspoken Democrat Senator John Fetterman doubled down, urging his party to reflect, regroup, and reopen the government.
If you vote to shut our government down, you are going to harm millions of Americans. And why would you do this? Where's our leverage? It was wrong. It was wrong for the Republicans to do that. Absolutely, that's true. It was wrong for the Republicans to do that. It would just be wrong for us for those things.
He added in a tweet yesterday, most Americans would find it incredibly difficult to work for 5 weeks without a paycheck. This shutdown is a choice. Let's end this and pay our workers. A vote that shows principle over political party. And even CNN's Jake Tapper is pushing back on the Democrats' resistance to not play ball.
See, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of him, but he was right. He's on point. He's right about it.
With the Republicans.
Should the Democratic senators from New Mexico, your home state, vote to open the government so that these SNAP funds are not at risk?
Let me be clear. The administration is choosing to starve American children with money that they already have appropriated.
I'm not applauding their
tactics.
by
the White House.
Well,
this is a choice by the White House.
This is also,
Congresswoman,
this is also a choice by Senate Democrats to not vote to open the government. Yes, it is. I understand why they're doing it.
Democrat Senator Welsh was also surprisingly...
Listen, if your favorite candidate is the one you voted into office is taking a stance like that, that's the reason why. That's the reason. You can hate Trump, you can hate his politics, you can hate him down to the core, but you know grandma needs to eat. You really do. You really do know grandma needs to eat, grandpa needs to eat, and you know the kids need food. You know that. So I don't know. I don't get it. I don't. Probably I'll never get it. Probably these people are vastly smarter than the rest of us. Probably we are just the peasants on the field doing a little bit of work here, a little bit of work there. Because that's why you call them elites. You call them elites because they have a higher level of thinking, or they see it strategically better than the common person, right? That's why they are elites. Because they're supposed to be able to plot and plan and do those different things for us because they're the elites, right? I mean, that's what it is. That's why they're elites. So I guess, shouldn't they know that grandma and grandpa needs to eat? Are they so far distanced from the individual? Anyway, I'm not even going to go there. Not yet.
Blasted by a CNBC host over his party's refusal to cooperate with the Republicans.
Are you ready to vote with the Republicans to reopen the government at this point as a reasonable Democrat? Maybe others would follow you.
You know, I'm not there yet,
because we have had literally, Joe, no discussion whatsoever about how we're going to deal with these
This is the right way to do it,
premiums.
Senator? By people not getting paychecks at the TSA? This is extortion. You think this is the right way to do it? In your conscience, you think it's the right way to do it? I never thought I'd say that, Andrew, that it, as a human being, he always says that. As a human being, you think this is the right thing to do?
They should give everybody their pay. When they start this up, everybody should be getting their paycheck, and they should get interest on the money that's been sitting there. Yes. And after they get interest on the money that's been sitting there, they should be able to you should give them a stipend for the time they were away, that they probably have to go get a loan, and those loans probably had interest tied to them. That's the way you should do. That's how you are fair with people. I mean, that's the truth. That is how you're fair with people. I mean, they don't have their spent. Government employees had to go get loans to survive. They probably ran through their savings. They can't just get their check and then go along and it's okay, I'm just going to put my check in here. What about the ones that had to go find money? What about them? Ain't nothing about them, huh?
That's your line.
Well, that's why Senator Hawley on have our bill to make sure that folks get the nutrition that they absolutely need is why the president is paying the troops.
The chaos comes after Democrat Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer made a list of unhinged demands in order to
No, the president's paying the troops because you need to pay the troops. You need that defense force. Don't get that twisted. You can't go roll up in Nigeria and you ain't pay no troops. Come on. You're opening doors for issues right now, and he knows that with troops. You know that, especially with the defense of the country.
reopen the government.
Just look at the wish list, the hostage list that Chuck Schumer filed weeks ago. His demands that he said have to be met before he'll even open up the government again. $1.5 trillion in new unrelated spending Chuck Schumer demanded, including, yes, eliminating all the verifications so that illegals will get taxpayer-funded health care. That's in Chuck Schumer's bill.
Whoa! Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Good God. All the verifications so immigrants can get, illegal immigrants can get taxpayer. Let's run that back real quick. And Schumer didn't respond. He didn't buck back at this. I haven't seen anything from Chuck Schumer bucking back at this. Okay? And don't think, this is definitely going to affect the real estate market. Don't get it twisted, guys. Don't get it.
The chaos comes after Democrat Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer made a list of unhinged demands in order to reopen the government.
Just look at the wish list, the hostage list that Chuck Schumer filed weeks ago. His demands that he said have to be met before he'll even open up the government again. $1.5 trillion in new unrelated spending Chuck Schumer demanded, including, yes, eliminating all the verifications so that illegals will get taxpayer-funded health care. That's in Chuck Schumer's bill. Chuck Schumer guts the $50 billion rural hospital fund to give taxpayer-funded health benefits to illegals in his hostage demands. That's not going to happen. And so when are we going to have a rational conversation? When are Democrats going to actually become serious in this discussion where they say, let's open up the government and start talking about our differences, about how we're going to get this country back on track?
He is also demanding $4 million for LGBTQIA+ projects exposed by Speaker Johnson just yesterday.
Things like $4 million for global LGBTQI+ awareness campaigns around the world. $4 million for the LGBTQI+ democracy grants in the Balkans.
$4 million for LGBTQI democracy grants in the Baltic? Why are we sending $4 million over there? See, I'm guilty for this in some ways too. I read some of these bills, I do some of this research, and I always hear something new tacked onto it. And I just don't understand why that needs to be a priority over Americans eating for Thanksgiving. Why do we have to choose between Americans eating for Thanksgiving and sending money to the Baltics? $4 million. Why? I personally believe some of the stuff that was on that was probably some dark black ops money. That's just me. That's just me. That's just me. That's conspiracy. Have no fact to prove it, allegedly. But at the end of the day, why? Like, why? Why? When it's people that need food. You mean to tell me LGBTQ white rights in the Baltic are more important than people eating at home? I could get and I can understand and say, okay, let's just start SNAP. We'll pull all the money out that we're requesting to go overseas. And we'll just let SNAP start. And then from there, we'll work with you on tech. No, they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. That solution's way too easy. Because it is way too easy. It's way too easy to put America first. It's way too easy to put the people here in America first. Even if you disagree and you say we have illegal immigrants on SNAP, okay, I got you. Okay? But why not say, let's get Americans fed, and then the illegal ones, we can do that whole deal. But they don't want that. They want everybody to get it. This is how I say, these are your leaders.
They want $2 million for feminist democratic principles projects in Africa. We're not doing that. But again, the question is why?
Schumer added to this list today by demanding the GOP vote on a food stamp funding program while still refusing to open the government. House Speaker Johnson has also been on a warpath against Schumer, blasting him for not cooperating for the good of the American people.
I mean, you've heard them in their own words say the quiet parts out loud. Chuck Schumer literally said here 6 or 7 days ago that every day of the shutdown gets better for us, meaning his party. You had the number 2 ranked Democrat in the House just the other day say, yeah, we understand it's going to cause pain, but that's really the only time we have leverage. They admit that they're doing this intentionally and that they want people to hurt.
And not...
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. Disney's doing the same thing to freaking YouTube. They're threatening to shut down YouTube if they don't pay more for these Sunday games. I can understand leverage. That's negotiation right there. But, bro, do we have to negotiate with grandma money? I mean, do we have to? For real? Is there a better way?
Only are politicians on both sides sick of Schumer's shutdown, so are the American people, particularly those federal workers not receiving a paycheck.
And Joe, I was stunned talking to you just before we started here. You missed your first paycheck, yet you're continuing to work.
Good morning. Yes, I did. 6 days a week, a lot of times 10 hours a day.
You're working without a paycheck?
Without a paycheck.
What kind of impact is that having on you, your family, meeting bills?
You know, the pressure is real. We go to work and we speak with people. That's all we talk about. It's a distraction. You go home to your safe place and it's a distraction there too. Deciding, prioritizing what bills are going to be paid, what's got to get cut. And it's a distraction for your home life.
And the situation has become so dire that the largest union representing American federal workers has stepped in, turning against the Democrats to demand the government reopen.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very dramatic call from that union of federal employees representing hundreds of thousands with a statement today saying, among other things, that it's time for our leaders to start focusing on how to solve problems for the American people rather than on who is going to get the blame for a shutdown that Americans dislike. Because when the folks who serve this country are standing in line for food banks after missing a second paycheck because of this shutdown, they aren't looking for partisan spin. They're looking for wages that they earned. They go on to essentially say that Congress needs to pass, in their view, a clean CR.
Even CNN was forced to admit the shutdown is hurting the Democratic Party's polling numbers.
Starting with Republicans, how has the shutdown seemed to have affected their political standing?
Yeah, you might think, given that the Republicans are in charge of both the House and the Senate, that a government shutdown might actually hurt.
Okay, pause that. How many Americans live paycheck to paycheck? Recent survey from PNC Bank found that 67% of American workers are still living paycheck to paycheck. Another source proved in 2024 that around 25% of all U.S. homes per Bank of America fall into a strict necessary spending version of paycheck to paycheck each month. Some earlier estimates from Lending Club payments intelligence shows that 52 to 64%. So we have no less, somewhere between 25 to at least 67% of America dealing with living that get their money from the government, dealing with living paycheck to paycheck. That is crazy. That is crazy. That is the reason why I truly believe in entrepreneurship. I truly believe that you need to build assets on the side. I truly believe you need to have a business outside of what you're currently doing. It needs to be digital. It needs to be able to go over the all over the world, all over the country at the very least. And you need to be able to eat when you sleep. You need to be able to make money while you sleep. You should monetize every single thing. And there's nothing wrong with having a job, but that job should not be your end all be all. And I pray that out of most of them, all of them have spouses that have jobs that aren't tied to the government. I pray. But I know now that there is a large amount of families that still have the breadwinner as the father or the mother. That's it, because I know some people, mom, she make a bunch of money. Bob, just stay home. I know a bunch of them, okay? It's a few of them. But that should be an important thing. That's it right there. Like, to me, that's it. How do we move out of that situation? I always say, this is what I've always believed. When I'm in a situation, I say, Lord, what do you want me to learn from this? What do you want me to gain from this situation? Like, what can I learn from this? If I know what I can learn from it, I don't have to repeat it, and I walk out with the lesson. And when I come out with the lesson, I can share the lesson. One of the truest lessons I've learned is we cannot be tied to one source of income. Even if you're working a full-time freaking job, and I know it's hard as crap. I know that. I know it. I worked corporate America before. I feel it. I didn't just start doing real estate and it just happened out of nowhere. I had to bust my butt, and we still bust our butt doing stuff. But I knew it, and I understand that we cannot be tied to this system. We can't be dependent on this system for the things that we need, which is taking care of our family. That's the new American dream. The new American dream isn't about the biggest house you can have. Even though we realtors, brokers, investors, we want to sell you big, nice, shiny houses that we probably wouldn't live in ourselves simply because they're like, dang, that's a lot of money. It's better to fix it and sell it and make the profit than to keep it. But the reality of it is true. The biggest American dream is a business that operates, whether you're talking about real estate, whether you're talking about stocks, whether you're talking. So I'm all about that. I'm not all about that. I mean, I can't ignore that. Nobody here can ignore that. You can't sit back and say, you can't ignore politics and say it has no place in real estate, it has no place in anywhere else. If politics is there for taxes, and CPAs got to look at it. If politics is there for financing, so people finance, so bankers got to look at it, they make those moves. If it's there for life insurance, because they need to know what type of policies they need, what can we do, what's the restriction, it's there for real estate at the same time. Matter of fact, it's there for real estate more than anything else. So I'm not saying become a real estate investor, but I am saying that the skills that are acquired at the job needs to be put into place in your life outside of the person paying you monthly for it, weekly and hourly for it. It needs to be where those skills become so honed, so on point, that they got to battle to keep you. And then we play in a different game. We play in a different game. But I get it. We wake up every morning, we go to work, we come home, we deal with a boss that's there, we deal with the obligations of the job, we come home, if we got kids, we got to fix food for them. After we fix food for them, God knows if they got to do dance, wrestling, any of that stuff, we got to do that stuff for them. We got to come home and do that. Then you're telling me, Leon, I got to sit down and still work on my business? Yes. Yes, I'm telling you that. I'm telling you, you got to work on a way to stop trading that time for that income. I'm saying you got to dig down and find that way to scale. I am a believer, and I tell you, I'm still a believer in multiple levels. I'm a believer that the more you plug yourself in with God and your spiritual walk, the better it becomes when we deal with situations like this. You can take it, you can leave it. I'm not pushing it on you, but I'm telling you there is more than something there. more than something there. And we feel it from this pain. So now the question is, what do I learn from something like this? What I learn is that I can't rely on this. And people can be offended and be as mad as you want. Yes, we're past that time where you can have one income in the house and that's it. Trust me, I know. You got to have multiple ways of getting the bread. You got to. You got to. Because if you sit back and you vote these guys in office and they go completely the opposite direction that you voted them in for, they don't keep any promises, and they play for people that aren't even, they're playing for foreign entities and not you. If they're playing for foreign governments and foreign entities and not you, that's your taxpayer money. They're deciding if they're going to pay you off of your taxpayer money.
Republican brand. But in fact, it hasn't. If anything, it's been helped a little bit. Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since pre-shutdown. So what we're seeing here is the Republican brand in Congress has actually improved somewhat compared to where we were pre-shutdown, despite the fact that Republicans control. And that's the math that John Thune and Mike Johnson are looking at is, well, hey, why should we give, and electorally speaking, when our brand has actually improved a little bit?
And instead of ceding to Schumer's demands...
Did you notice what he said right there? Our brand. We forget that this is a brand battle also. Politics is so polarizing because what happened with Trump, and I can go down this rant, and I'll probably one day go down it. We saw a change in the political advertising, marketing. Marketing in politics has changed totally. So they see it's a brand. And this brand has an ideology, and this brand has a belief, a way of thinking, and this brand can shift and change and adjust. And it can definitely become unfavorable in the larger public's eyesight, in the people's eyes. That's what they're battling for. They're holding on to your money. It's a brand war with your money.
Trump and Vance are not moving an inch whilst the government remains shut.
What's not reasonable is to hold those ideas as leverage and to shut down the government unless we give you everything that you want. There were multiple times where Leader Jeffries or Leader Schumer would say, you know what, we should be doing this. And the President of the United States would say, yeah, absolutely, let's have that conversation. But we're going to do it in the context of the people's government being open. We're not going to let you take the people's government hostage and then give you everything that you want. And that's really the state of the negotiation. Yeah.
But whilst the president is not ceding on demands, the leadership of the US are no longer allowing federal workers to not be paid because of the shutdown, with J.D. Vance confirming that he has found a way to ensure military workers get paid by Friday.
Yeah. Yeah, they should. That should have been something that shouldn't even happen. Honestly, I don't believe military workers should have actually had any. The military should not have experienced that at all. Not the military, but some people may say, "Look, this is where we're at right now." But they shouldn't have. Now let's go over to New York. Man, I'm from Philly. I live in Atlanta. Used to go to New York all the time, bro. New York. I love the NYC. Let me make this bigger for some of you guys. I love the NYC. I love it. I love the NYC. Love it. Love you. New York is going to be first in so many different ways. It is just the way that New York is structured. New York has to be number one, right? New York just has to be first. They have to be the first. It's up to me. You do. Y'all, yeah, it has to be. So, New York is about to be the first for sure. Y'all about to be the first with the Democrat, y'all, You guys in New York are about to be the first of you guys in New York are about to be the first Democratic Socialist Democratic Socialist mayor example. I don't want to do that to you guys because I love the city, but dang man, this is disappointing to me to watch. But you know, it ain't my state. It ain't my state. And you know what? I do believe that real estate will be impacted drastically when this happens. Because the property taxes that are spent here, some of the highest property taxes in the country, it's going to be in the hands of someone that's going to show you what socialism is truly about. It's not about what you want to do with your money. It's about what the government, what the party wants to do with your money. It's not about you getting a vote. You can now also we have to be clear. Yes, he can win the race, but he still has to now deal with what's happening in his own he still has to deal with city council. What authority they have in saying what he can and cannot do, we'll see. What authority they vote on and go against, we'll see. We'll definitely see. But the fact that the purse strings are in his hand, it's going to, the fact that the purse strings are in his hand. Woo! Did you hear what I said? The purse strings are in his hand. 2025. Oh boy. This next year is going to be bananas.
And voters nationwide, they are heading to the polls this morning as well in a handful of races that could give us a better picture of the political climate across the U.S.
Doug Luzader joining us live from Washington, D.C. this morning on some of these off-year races that we're watching today. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning. No national races, but there are a few that stand out today, starting with the New York City mayoral race. There is no denying the momentum behind Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic socialist leading the race for New York mayor. It's a test for the city and for the Democratic Party.
Here they have Mamdani, who is clearly leading the party leftward. There's no question about that.
And this race does show clear divisions for Democrats, with former Democratic New York Governor Andrew Cuomo now running as an independent, clearly running from behind, along with Republican Curtis Sliwa. Some Democrats don't see this, though, as a widening rift.
We are a big tent party, and I think this is going to be a great small example of what the midterms will look like. Candidates that are tailored to the areas that they live in.
I plan on ensuring that we don't just win tomorrow, but that we crush it tomorrow.
In gubernatorial contests in Virginia and New Jersey, more moderate Democrats are carrying leads over Republicans. And looming over all of these races, President Trump, especially in New Jersey, which could be close.
All the reasons that President Trump won a year ago are on the ballot again, and it's the same old tired, I'd say even worse, more socialist policies on the ballot for the other side.
They poked the bear, and the bear is poking back.
And in California, Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom is pushing a controversial redistricting proposition that would edge out Republican seats in Congress.
Wow. And you know, they can do it too. They can do it. I think they are actually probably going to get it done. I keep saying that California is its own republic. It's its own territory. It's completely different. Every bit of real estate in California is overpriced. But you know, when you're looking out at the shore, and who cares, right? It's sunny here all the time with earthquakes and fire. So who cares? At the end of the day, nobody cares, right? When I see a big tent party, that means a party that everybody can think and believe everything that they want under, and we hold hands and it's kumbaya. Wow. Is there truly a place for everyone? You tell me. Is there truly a place for everyone in the Democratic Party? And I ask, is there truly a place for everyone in the Republican Party? Who knows? But at the end of the day, guys, all of this comes down to green, period. Not red, definitely not blue. It comes down to green, period. Comes down to green. Comes down to green. And it's sad that green will determine how far this shutdown will go.
And we talk about headwinds for Republicans this year. The 4 states that we're talking about here, New York, New Jersey, Virginia, and California, are all states that President Trump lost last year. Back to you guys.
All right, Doug Luzader live in Washington on what's going to be a busy day for us. Thank you, Doug.
Thanks, Doug.
Ooh. 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 Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Hey, before I even go to the next story, I'm going to tell you, we are excited to give out loans. I'm telling you, we love giving out loans. That's what we do. We love giving out loans and helping investors, helping new business owners find the money they need to start their next project. So we can offer up to $500,000, get approval within 24 to 48 hours. And yeah, you don't need to make a ton of money to do this. We're not looking for perfect credit scores, but you do have to have some level of performance. And you cannot be low. Okay. Come on, guys. Be for real. You can't go to a bank and get this. But you can come here and actually get access to more lenders than you will probably get with SoFi. SoFi. What you're going to go is to legacypeakfunding.com. Legacypeakfunding.com. You're going to choose the unsecured loan option. If you retire W-2, it doesn't matter. Credit lines. We can turn around and get you guys the funds you need. I mean, I've helped people get everything from flipping houses, fixing and flipping houses, to bakeries. Now, why would you use this for a real estate loan? Why would you even use this? So let me hook you up on a little bit of game. If you're watching and you don't know anything about real estate, check this out. Most hard money lenders will only loan up to a certain amount of money. So if you have a project and it's $75,000, normally the threshold is between $75,000 and $85,000, and you have $75,000 to $85,000 to buy the property. That's what you need. And we're not talking about how much it costs to rehab the property. It could be just to buy the property to have and put into your portfolio. It could be to rehab the property. It doesn't matter. But hard money lenders, they typically, like DSCRs, loans, some of these loans, most of them stop at $1 amount. So I've had people come to us looking for lending options, and they find out that they cannot close because they found out they couldn't close, or their lender is having a problem getting them closed, and they just need $75K to buy it. They may have money already put to the side to rehab it, or they may need. In one case, I was helping a young lady. She needed $75 to buy the duplex, and another $50 to rehab it. It wasn't in Atlanta, trust me. It was in South Georgia. Okay, so this got her the money that she needed. Okay, this got her the money she needed, and so this is why these type of loans. And we've been doing it for 15 years. 15 years. These loan we've only grown, and it's only grew. So if you were approved that day, 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, probably 7 out of 10. You'll have that money that day, depending on the time that you're approved, or within the next day. This is not a long waiting process. The money goes right to your account. Goes right to your account. Lines of credit, terms going 3, 4, 3, 5, and 7-year terms. So need that personal loan. You can use it for whatever you need. I would tell you, don't take a trip with that money. You better put that money into building some type of business. Because God knows where we're at right now. This is what you need to build that business. Because if you're relying on the government to do it for you, you're going to be in a world of hurt. You're going to be in a world of hurt. That's capital Peak. That's Legacy Peak Funding. LegacyPeakFunding.com. Legacy Peak Funding. And get you that money, man, and get you set up. Been doing this for 18 years, and 18 years, and I tell you, I learn something new all the time. And I'm definitely learning something new. We're seeing an uptick in lending when this is all going on. That tells me that people are getting the message. They're trying to position themselves with the right assets, whether it's through a rental, most of the time it's through a rental. I've seen people doing pad splits also. Pad split is so freaking big right now. You'll be amazed. And I think it's going to only get bigger in my opinion. That's me. That's my opinion. So that is, I wish I had chosen pad split over the Airbnb model when I got my first Airbnb. I wish I would have chosen that, because if I had, God knows I'd be in a better place. But hey, man, I digress, and I hand it over to you. Laugh at you, boy. Yeah. So let's get going.
Well, it is election day for millions of Americans, and we've talked about our local election right here in Miami-Dade County, but there are key races in New York City, New Jersey, and Virginia that could be a bellwether for what's expected in next year's midterm elections. So one of the most closely watched is New York City race for mayor.
So self-proclaimed Democratic Socialist Zoran Mamdani is the front runner. He's ahead of former Democratic Governor Andrew Cuomo. Now, who wins in that election could have an impact right here in Florida. You might remember this. Just a few months ago, the mayor of Boca Raton invited New Yorkers who were not happy with Mamdani's primary win.
Hey, did you see how they did this? Let's go back. I was looking at this because some of this stuff is the first time he's seeing it too. This is probably one of the very first times I've seen CBS or any of them do this. You got somebody wearing the Republican colors and someone wearing a Democrat color. They always have it one way or the other. I love that. I mean, at least it's fair play, right?
Just a few months ago, the mayor of Boca Raton invited New Yorkers who were not happy with Mamdani's primary win to relocate. CBS News Miami's Jared Hill is joining us live at a polling place right there in the Big Apple. And Jared, help us break down this race for us and the late night endorsement that actually came from President Trump.
Yeah, so Betty and Erica, this race in New York City, this mayoral race, could potentially be a bit of a marker for the direction of the Democratic Party going forward. You have Zoran Mamdani, a Democratic Socialist, and then you have him going up against Andrew Cuomo, a Democrat running as an independent, who just got an endorsement last night from President Trump, although it's not quite a ringing endorsement, more so in his language. He said basically, you may not like him, but he's better than Mamdani. The question, though, is going to be, what do these numbers end up looking like in the end? Mamdani is someone who's
my guy said you may not like him, but he's better than Mamdani. Honestly, people dislike Trump, and I'm like, dude, this dude is, I like him. And it's not that I like every single thing that he says and he does. It's not that. I just like that freaking fire. I like the fact that he just says what he says, and he's like, hey. And some people say, oh, you're saying truth. Some people say, no, he's being, racist, prejudice, all that different stuff. Yeah, I got you. It's okay. But you gotta admit, he's got the biggest set of balls you've ever seen. And it's true. Boy, I mean, the balls to actually say, yeah, I don't like him, but he the best choice is like, I just, I'm sorry, he doesn't say it like that. I like Mamdani, but I don't want a communist, a socialist running the country. Running New York, especially New York, the place that I love, oh, great New York. And he's honest. He's honest. That's how he feels. And you can't, whether you like how a person feels or not, is it wrong to now? And that's what we don't understand with this guy Trump. I keep saying this. You broke down his whole life. You shut down the income to his business. You taxed him almost with $1 billion tax bill. You caused so much hell in his life. And then you wonder why he goes scorch earth right now. You wonder why he goes scorch earth? I know why. I get it. When I listened to Eric Trump he was on a Fox program and he's talking about how they shut down the Trump enterprises bank accounts. Oh man. And you got people you got to pay. your personal money. That's how they got into Bitcoin. That's how they got into the whole Bitcoin. That supported their run. That's what made them say, listen, we got to have something going on outside of this government structure. Because, ooh, if we stay in it, oh no. And if you can't learn from their experience, if you can't take a lesson from their experience, if you can't bring yourself to rational, just to say, I may not like Trump, but he is right about this, then you're just deceived. You're just deceived. You're just deceived because I'm going to tell some of y'all stuck on deep guys, real talk, God used a donkey. Okay. And I'm not saying he's a donkey, trust me. But what I'm saying, he used something that did not fit in the box of what you thought he should use. That's really what it comes down to. That's really what it comes down to. And he's done that before. He did that with Cyrus in the Bible. He did that. He used the thing that you less thought about, the thing that you did not give any credit to. There's a scripture that says he used the things, certain things in this world, the simple things, the dumb things, to confound the people who are wise and so smart and so intelligent. That's even on a religious side. Even for the religious side. Guys, I can't hold it back. This is just me. This is me. This is just how I am. This is how I am. This is how I am. You don't go into certain spaces like real estate, not having an opinion. I'm just going to follow the money. Do you not think that Trump has certain morals? Do you not think he has certain things he just doesn't do? Do you think he has a belief system? The man still has a belief system, whether you think it or not. If anything, I think his belief system on faith, he knows who he is, and he knows that he has some sense on his relationship with God, whether you agree with it or not. And those two things are necessary to conquer the world, honestly. Those are strong things to be a formidable force in whatever field you are, period. Knowing who you are. Because even in real estate, if you have no idea who you are, you will have deals that will be presented to you and you will buy those deals. Trust me, I know. You will have deals and situations be presented to you and you will decide, I'm not gonna, he can keep the earnest money. I'm not gonna fight him for it. No, you better know who you are. When you're negotiating, you better know who you are. When you're chasing your multifamily, you better know who you are. That is the difference between the ones who dominate and the ones who don't. Because in knowing who you are, knowing that you are a child of God, knowing that you've been blessed to walk on this earth by the grace of God, if you don't have a belief system that holds tight to that, you will find yourself ready to jump off a building when you're $1 million in debt. And I don't know why I'm going this route. This might be for somebody. You may want to take your life, which I've seen people do, We've all heard the stories publicly of people that do it too, because of the pressure of what's going on. Why do you think they do that? They don't do it simply because, hey, I just got $1 million worth. They don't believe they can get out because they don't believe who they are and the God that they serve will bring them out. They don't believe their identity has anything to do with it. They don't believe that their identity is so flawed and fractured. It's centered around the money and getting it. Dude, you do not go facing prison time, facing Fed time, facing losing everything, getting shot at. You got to say he knows who he is. He's got some freaking balls on him. And that's what happens when you know who you are. You just got balls on you. Your life, I truly believe now, 47 years in, 18 years in real estate, having been $1 million in debt, probably close to $1.5 million in loans, haven't been scammed, haven't had partners all of a sudden develop amnesia, haven't been sued, not once, twice. You got to know who you are. You got to know. You got to realize that all the crap you're going through, whether it's good, whether it's bad, I mean, it was good. Yeah, there's some good crap, trust me, because you get good crap brings money on the back end. That's some good relationships. You're in the trenches with people. They know who you are. I mean, the bad crap, where it just seems like the world is falling apart and you have no idea who you are. So don't start the real estate game unless you have some self-realization, until you really until you come to the point of understanding self to some degree. Because these fly-by-night people, they tell you all this stuff. This stuff is hard. It's hard. Nobody tell you this is easy. But the money is not where it's easy. The money is where it's challenging. You can have boring businesses and make good money, but the business does great. The model is successful. You being the operator, stepping out of the business, overseeing not the operations of the business, that's when the crap goes. Payroll, credit, debt. Did I make the right decision with marketing? Should I have put money over here instead of over there? I think I need to give myself an applause for that. Because that's real business. People, it's dirty. It's sometimes it's in the ground. And it's beautiful at the same time. Don't get it twisted. It is a beautiful thing. But if you don't know who you are, bro, if you don't have some level of love or connection or thing with higher power, some outside of you, if you don't know that God loves you, if you're made in his image and his likeness, if you don't understand those things, you're going to go through this and you will be I know people that quit doing business. They'd rather have a job. And they think it's safer on that side. They'd rather have a job. And there's nothing wrong with the job. It's just when the job is the only thing that you have, that's when it's bad. Yes. When the job is your only source of income, that's when it's bad. When the job is the thing that you base your identity and your self-value on, and when you lose it, you feel depressed and you feel less than human. That's the problem, because you find your significance in that job. What am I saying? Leon, what are you saying? Find your significance in creating. Find your value in the Father of creation who gave you the ability. Now I'm going to get off my horse. Let's go talk about Mamdani. Yeah. The Socialist Republic of New York. I told this guy from New York, this is what's going to happen. Oh, no, it's not going to win. This dude is probably going to win. I'm telling you, he's probably going to win. This is going to make for a heck of amount of content. Trust me. Content creators are going to go ham. It's never going to be a dull moment. Never going to be a dull moment if he wins.
Relative newcomer just a couple of months ago, but then really swept the field when it came time for the primary here in New York, and then now is leading in the polls. We have President Trump actually urging his supporters and any Republicans not to vote for the Republican in this race, Curtis Sliwa, saying that that's basically a throwaway vote, and again urging them to vote for Cuomo. We'll have to wait and see exactly how all this goes. But this is a race that's gotten a lot of attention across the country and across this city. About 700,000 or so people voted early. That is nearly 5 times as many voted early in the last mayoral election in 2021.
Yeah, it could have some wide-ranging implications, even down here, depending on who wins. All right, thank you so much, Jared. CBS News Miami will be right back.
So we're going to find out who they voted early for. Who did they vote early for? Because that's what it comes down to. Who did they vote early for? Yep. Who did they vote early for? Who did they vote early for?
Bluetooth disconnected.
Turn that off. That's really what it comes down to. Who did they vote early for? Did they vote early for Cuomo? Did they vote early for Mondani? We're not going to know tonight. I'm going to stay up and watch. This is going to be so y'all. You have no idea. Some of y'all sitting back like, okay, trust me. When you see, you're going to see. All right, this is the last story I'm going to cover. Get off my soapbox. I did my part to help the community. When I'm done with this, go look at some deals, see if I can get some contracts written. You know, your boy hasn't been doing real estate. And, well, I haven't put my foot on the gas. Now I'm about to put my foot on the gas. Why? Trying to figure out what I wanted to do, how I wanted to bring this out. Because let's be for real. The way I look at real estate, sometimes it's a selfish, self-centered dog-eat-dog world. So do you go out there and you continue to spread yourself? Dealing with people that all they look at is the mammon. Yeah, it is a mammon fight. Yeah, we do. And I think the purpose for doing it now is this. The purpose is saying, listen, like, you know, there's a story in the Bible of when they left the camp and they went in, I think, to Canaan, and they set the thieves in, and they came back with the grapes. And one of them said, oh, man, yo, there's a land flowing with milk and honey, and the giants are big, but we could take it. Then you had the ones that said, no, the giants are big. Yeah, we know the grapes are big, and it's plentiful, and it's prosperous, but we can't take it. I'm the one that's saying you can take it. I'm just saying, if you tried to take it before 2026, you need to be ready to take it and attempt to take it again. Because 2026, I believe, is going to be wide open for you guys that want to be the investors. You guys want to turn around and be wholesalers. Probably want to be an agent. You're like, why would the agents work? I got a business plan for how we restructure this thing. Oh, I'm coming to get ya. I'm coming to get ya. But the fact is, we want to see how many people we can help. How many people we can help in 2026? Because I know that this market is going to be something that a lot of people have never seen before. And the question is going to be, Leon, what is this real estate market going to be looking like? Like, what do we do? What are you seeing in the market? And I'm going to tell you, it's not based on the national. It's always going to be based on the local. It's always going to be based on the local. Because nationally, we already saw Zillow, OfferPad, Open Door start buying up these properties. I bought my house from Open Door. I bought it. It's funny. I sold an investment property to OfferPad. I sold a house to OfferPad and bought a house from Open Door. Whoa! Content. Yeah. Something we had for about 4 or 5 years. And we sold it in order to buy this one. And they thought they were going to go into every market area where these mom and pops are and start turning around and making money doing the mom and pop strategy. And I'm here to tell you that money model is for you and you only. That is the money model for the average person who needs to get into real estate. It's not for the big guys. They can try to get in, but they're gonna make some cover. Like we know in Atlanta right now, I think the stat was 1 in 3 houses are owned by someone. Some number said 30%. I don't know. Might be 30%. That's close to 1 in 3. About the same thing, right? 1 in 3, 33 and third. 30%. About the same thing in numbers. Are owned by corporate entities. So these corporate entities come into cities like Atlanta, they buy up the houses and they lease it back to people like you who want to live here, move here, or just don't want to buy. It's understandable. That's what happened. That's what happened. So they tried to do it. I say it's not going to be as easy in 2026, but we got to also realize that the model for a lot of these entities are there. Yeah. I've done business with hedge funds on the back end, selling property after, the owner needs to get rid of it. I don't want to hold it, which is probably one of the worst things that I've ever done. Oh, no. Yep. And we'll talk about that one time. Selling property. You should have turned around and kept it, Leon. But that is the statement. You're never going to meet an investor that said, "Yeah, I wish I would have sold everything. I never kept any of this." Dude, these 100, there are 100% tax cuts that are in that big, beautiful bill for real estate that nobody's even talking about. They only talk about Trump and what he's doing. We're going to talk about it one day. We're going to talk about it because you got to know how to get that money, how to get that bread. Yeah. You want to know how to do that. Yeah. He is the president, the real estate president. Let's do that. Let's be for real. Get in. This is not like 2016 where he was fighting Congress and the Senate and the media and all of that. I got my opinion on where that's going and where he's going with this and where he's at right now. Probably around a bunch of rhinos. But hey, he's still a real estate president. And at the end of the day, red or blue, the only thing that they're concerned with is the green. You know what? I'll change that. The only thing they're concerned with is the green. Oh, no. Yeah, that's better. Oh, no. It's sad, but it's true. So you got to know, buddy of mine said, you got to follow the money. You got to follow the money. You got to follow the money with the candidates. Follow the money in the political side. Follow the money. Where's the money going? You got the largest builders meeting at the White House. You got builders that own own a bunch of land that they haven't even started to build on because of cost of building being so high, labor force being ripped through by the president's illegal immigrant gutting process. The fly squatter does not actually. That looks like a 5.56. Okay, 2.23 round. I just killed a fly, and it's a 5.56 round. But I like the guy, man. Hey, because this is the thing. It doesn't matter what type of president you are. It doesn't matter what type of leader you are. Every leader is going to draw some level of controversy. Every leader, nobody's going to ever like every leader, and that's true. Most people don't. It's just the way it is. Have no idea why. It's just the way it is. Most of you guys, it doesn't matter. You still won't like them. It doesn't matter. You won't like them. You'll never like them. He can do everything right, and your behind is still gonna find some way. Still gonna find some way to hate on this guy. By the way, real estate lunchbox, 12 o'clock. Why? Because this is the lunch hour. Why do I call it real estate lunchbox, man? I do it because you gotta realize there's so much in real estate I wish people really understood and knew. It's like wholesaling part of real estate is the gateway drug. And it just made you just want to go from wholesaling to creative financing to fix and flipping to buy and holding to and some of the best investors still wholesale. Still wholesale. And if you're an agent and you don't know how to, shame on you. If your broker tells you can't do it, shame on you. You're going to wish you learned. I'm telling you, you're going to wish you learned. You're going to wish you learned. You leaving so much freaking money and opportunity, connections, relationships on the freaking table. Oh, Leon, I don't like it. Okay, cool. This is what you can do. You can send your deals to us, and we will buy it from your buyer. We'll buy it from you. Yeah, send your deals. Send your deals. In Georgia, I'm not going to California buying anything. I'm not. I'm sorry. California, y'all can keep it. Probably Florida. Probably South Carolina. Definitely Florida, depending where in Florida. Not South Carolina. Florida and Georgia. Keep it like that. And I got to think of it because I know private lenders. We get our money privately. We get it from private lenders, hard money people. And I know more that want to go to Florida than don't. Okay? And know a ton more in Georgia that's doing it. And we'll buy it from you. So you don't have to turn around and deal with that situation of trying to buy that property from that lead that came in that has that spread. You want your 3%, we'll get you your 3%, but we will definitely buy it from you. And at the end,
congratulations, well done.
You did your deal. You did a deal. You did a real estate deal. Yeah. On to Nigeria. Hey guys, Nigeria. Oh my gosh. And when I'm done with this, this is over. Nigeria. Bro. Nigeria. I'm sitting here. Somebody just hit me with an owner finance deal in Riverdale, Georgia. Yeah, interested in it. That's overpriced, bro. We'll check it when we get off of this. I just looked at the city. I knew that's overpriced. Hey, okay, let's go. Nigeria, man. I was wondering why Trump turned around and decided to, because he didn't have to do it. Nigerian nationals and Christians in Nigeria, they've been reaching out to the United States, I think going back as far as 2009. Remember that last Boko Haram incident where they came in and they snatched up girls and they dragged them away? I mean, from that time, I guess it was highlighted more on the national scale that Nigeria had a real issue going on with radical Islamists. Okay. Knowing that, they knew that this was going on. This is not brand new. This is not brand new. That Christians were being slaughtered and killed in thousands. Thousands. And even now, it's so sad. Christian churches in the States who have the ear of the president, they should have had that on a radar way long time. And I'm not going to judge. They probably did. I don't know what happens back then. Who knows, bro? Who knows? Who knows what takes place back then? But one thing we do know is that the last 4 years, they knew about it too. They knew about it. They knew about it. They knew what was going on. They just chose to turn a blind eye and run whatever race they wanted to run. You know, they knew about it during the Obama time. God, I say 2016, he couldn't do too much about anything, bro. He was fighting left and right. That's the fact. Whether you like Trump or not. You got to admire his sharpness. But at the end of the day, this is not a brand new issue. And it's sad. Christians are dying, man. And I told my wife this morning, I said, you know what? When you martyr people who stand for Christ, people who stand and have given and yielded their lives to God, to Christ, whether you believe in the faith or not, if you're a believer, I hope you believe in your faith if you're a Christian. Because what's happening is the image of God through Jesus is being eradicated by one person at a time. The whole goal when you martyr a Christian is to dismiss, to eradicate the image of God. Now, we don't want to get deep in this. I'm going to tell you, what do I mean by image of God? For our Christian doctrine, we're made in the image of Christ, right? Made in the image of Christ. That means we resemble him in character. And what is his character? Christ said, when you see me, you see the Father. And what is the Father? God is love. So you saw love in Jesus, and you're supposed to see the same love in the believers. That's a different conversation. But that is the image of Christ. They carry the name. They bear the image. Where honestly, there is a translation which calls it image bearers. The righteousness of God, the image of God is called being an image bearer. So when you eradicate, when you martyr, when you kill Christians in massive amounts, it's my show, so I talk about whatever I want. You're turning around and killing the image of Christ. You're doing it. You're saying that it's not so much the people, but what they believe. And what they believe is that they're made in the image and likeness of Christ and that he saved them for their sins. Yo, Jesus did this. God is love, and he's in me, and I'm little love right here. That probably went right over your head. You got to meditate on that. You got to really take the time to think about it. You got to really take the time to think about it. You're killing love. You're murdering love. When they kill and murder Christians, you murder love. You do. You're murdering the image of God, one piece at a time. They did it to Simon. They did it to Paul. Did it to Jesus. Of course, original, right? Did him. But you see it all through Christian and Catholic faith, where saints were murdered. And you say, oh, they were murdered because they're Christian and they don't like the belief structure. These people don't like their belief structure being Christians, and that's why they're killing them. Yeah, let's say it's more heinous than what you think it is. Let's say it's so heinous, it's so deeply disturbing that it's not surface. On the surface, you see them killing people. Underneath the surface, they're snipping out and turning out and destroying light in the earth. Come on, bro. My wife be calling me. I don't even know what I'm saying. That's what's happening. Destroying light in the earth. Love in this earth. Yup. Yup. Boom, boom. Destroying love in the earth. Yeah, he needed to say something. I'm glad he said something. I'm glad his stance wasn't a stance that was a passive, small stance. I'm glad he took the time and he put his foot down and said something. Because nobody else, I haven't seen a president so far speak up like that. And some of the people that claim to be Christian in our government who are quiet, you got to ask and wonder, are they really Christian?
An urgent message from President Trump demanding Nigeria stop the brutal murders of thousands of Christians in the country or face possible action from the Pentagon. He posted in part, quote, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country guns a-blazing to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. Paul Adamu is a Nigerian Christian who was kidnapped by Boko Haram 2 years ago. He joins us now. It's so wonderful to have you on the show. Please tell us what happened to you.
It was such a disheartening situation. 2 years ago, I was kidnapped by the dreaded Boko Haram along my way to the airport while I was traveling to Cameroon to meet some of my colleagues, and then I got kidnapped along the line, along the route.
And you were held for how long?
12 days.
Okay. And there are many people, especially young girls, who have been kidnapped by Boko Haram, put into forced marriages, forced conversions. They're still in captivity. The situation there is quite dire. You heard what President Trump has said. Here's what Nigeria's president has said in response. He said that the characterization of Nigeria as religiously intolerant does not reflect our national reality, nor does it take into consideration the consistent and sincere efforts of the government to safeguard freedom of religion and beliefs for all Nigerians.
BS. BS, BS, BS. This is not something that just happened yesterday. This has been going on, like I said, for years. This is how I know whatever he brings upon Nigeria, whatever he tries to impose, if you want to argue with it, you're welcome to argue with it. But at the end of the day, that message from the president is BS. It is.
What's your message? What's it like to be a Christian in Nigeria?
First, I want to thank and applaud the United States of American President Donald Trump for designating Nigeria as a CPC, because this is one of the things that we have always wanted. For the message of the Nigerian president, that I think at this point, I will say that there is a time when propaganda has no appeal, where propaganda has lost an appeal. And this is actually the time, because whatever is happening in Nigeria at this moment, I would say that Nigeria is the worst place to be as a Christian, like the worst place in the whole of the world to be.
The worst place to be as a Christian.
As a Christian, because we wake up every day with news of killings, every day with news of massacring of Christians. It's totally a genocide that is happening here in Nigeria. There is nothing anybody will tell me, because I have been in here for as long as I know. I've been in these places where these attacks have taken place. I've seen women who are crying for the loss of their husbands. I've seen children who are crying for the loss of their parents. I've seen parents who are crying for the loss of their children. I've been to churches that have been burnt down. These are not things that I've heard from the news or someone telling me. This is something that I witnessed somewhere. I've been myself. I've witnessed where terrorism is at the highest point, where people are killed and slaughtered like chickens every day.
Paul, I don't have a lot of time left, but I just want to ask you one last question. How have you and other Christians kept the faith during this persecution?
We are grateful for the organization I work with, Irish Global, who have taken it upon themselves to care for these persecuted Christians by providing relief materials, emergency kits, and then also providing them with discipleship, where they are being told that despite all that is happening to them, Christ still loves them.
Paul Adamu, just so you know, the African church, the Nigerian church in particular, the Christians there have been an amazing example of faith through persecution and martyrdom. And we are praying for all of you very much. And we hope the president will do something that will make a difference for your religious freedom in your country. Thank you.
So the way that they keep the faith in the midst of being killed, slaughtered, martyred, raped, dragged out of their homes, is to believe and hold on to the fact that God loves them. So normally here in the U.S., we will say, oh, God loves them, then why is all of that happening to them? That's a different conversation, because it's not just happening to them, it's happening to every Christian. This is a body. When you hit one piece of the body, one part of the body, the whole body feels it. You cut off the hand, the whole body feels it. The arm, the whole body feels it. What he said right there is the most powerful revelation that I say people should take with them. It's true for real estate. It's true for life. It's just true, period. Embracing the fact that God loves you in the midst of the worst situation gives you the strength to go through the situation. And in the middle of that situation, to identify his way out. I can't speak for the faith of any of this, because there's a doctrine in America, we kind of feel all of this fits into it. There's a box. They tell you, oh, you're not supposed to suffer, not supposed to go through nothing. You're a Christian now. Christians go through it just like everybody else. I'd rather go through it knowing that I'm loved by God and that he loves me. And hey, he got some wisdom for me to get out of this situation. What is it? The saddest thing is that this is not a conversation that you hear in a lot of Christian churches. They rather would talk to you about taking your money for tithing. And I'm all about giving to my ministry because I know the power of giving. This is just not, I know in my ministry, these are the conversations we have. This is the kind of teaching we talk about, the love of God, like things like that you need to hold yourself down. So the fairy tale and the fable can be thrown out the window. But I say this more and more, if this guy can go through this and he can endure through it, what less you in this great empire, this country, who may not have SNAP benefits right now, who may have, whose job may be in limbo because of government shutdown. If they can do it, holding on to the love of God, you can do it too. Holding on to the love of God in less dire situations, in situations that aren't life or death. Now, granted, I always say getting food on the table for SNAP. Yeah, if you had my boys in the house, my boys, they eat. It's life or death for us. But let's be for real. Nobody's coming to your house and blowing it up or dragging you out in the middle of the night. So, man, if anything you get from me today, hold on to the love of God. Please hold on to the love of God, because it's the love of God that takes you through and teaches you how to actually do this, to be this. We do it because of the love of God. Now, you see this sweatshirt right here, right? See that sweatshirt? We got it in black. Boy, bring me a black one. Where's the black one? Let me get the black one. Let me get a black one. Let me get a black one. Come on, black. You see the black one? Whoa. So we got this in black, and we got it in white. This is the Live Free, Give Hope Keys sweatshirt. I get this question, and it always comes in because I'm about to jump off. Why is this guy giving away this apartment? Hold on. This is a scam. It can't be true. It might be trying to get your information. What you're really asking is, how can you do this financially? And we do it financially by selling merch. So it's free to enter, but if you decide you want to get some bonus entries, this merch will get you that. Every dollar you spend on this merch drives you closer to winning that apartment. So if you buy a sweater or a hoodie and it's $35 or $30, that helped us provide a free apartment to somebody. More importantly, with utilities, furniture, flat screen TV covered for a year, right? But at the same time, you get, if it's 30 you spend, you get 30 entries. 40 you spend, you get 40 entries. You can get up to 600 entries in this. That means you can do the free entries, and then you could buy merch up to $600 worth of merch and be entered in up to $600 in this run. And you say, Leon, we had a question that came in. What do we do with the information after that one person out of 1,000 gets it? Oh God, y'all rather bet on on games that you have no shot of winning any money in. We email you and tell you, listen, thanks for jumping into the contest. You didn't win this time, but in 2 months we're doing another one, and you can enter into it. We're going to let you know so you know before everybody else. That's it. That's it. Come on, let's be for real, man. If we could give away a 50 at one time, we would. But our goal is to give away 100 apartments. 100 apartments, 100 homes for a year. Utilities, fully furnished, all of that good stuff. It's not just about making money. We can make money and still provide something for somebody. Still can. Hey, Guys, like, subscribe, follow. You can follow me on Instagram, Real Estate Lunchbox, YouTube, Real Estate Lunchbox, Twitch, Real Estate Lunchbox 365. I am streaming on my personal channel right now, but you can also find me on my business channel, Real Estate Lunchbox on Facebook. Guys, I ain't going nowhere. I ain't switching up the game. If anything, I'm about to become more deadly, and I'm going to show everybody how to monetize and get the bread, because there's a lot of people holding up stuff in the real estate game. I think they're gatekeepers, and I done failed enough and won enough to be able to tell you when it's BS. You guys, love you guys. Thanks for showing up, and please, by all means, know that Jesus loves you in everything that you do, and keep on doing everything that you can, which is resting and relying on Him, and remember who you are, because that's the most important thing, far above any money or anything like that. Your identity in Him and who you are. That's the way you win. You guys be blessed.